Hi, I'm Jill Brittle. I'm the owner and lead attorney at Jill Brittle Family Law Group in Portland, Oregon. And I'm speaking today with my friend, Dr. Lisa Gabardi of Lake Oswego, Oregon. And she is a licensed psychologist helping individuals and families with their relationships, marriages, and divorces. And today we are discussing how to talk to children about divorce. So, Dr. Gabardi, one of the questions I hear most often from my clients is when and how to talk to their children about a pending divorce. What do you recommend in terms of when and where to have that initial conversation?
Thank you, Jill. So to start with where, I usually suggest that parents uh, have a talk with their children in the privacy of their home instead of out in public. Sometimes parents wonder if a park would be a good idea or a restaurant. And I usually suggest home just so that nobody's feeling self-conscious. Particularly middle school or teenage kids, might feel like there's a million eyes on them if you're in public. So the privacy of your home is a good location as to where. And I also stress for parents to be together, to sit down together with the children. I feel like that really sends a strong message to them at the outset of the process that they are still their parents and they intend to come together for their children, even as the parents are going to transition into two homes. So both parents together in the home. And then as to when, I like to use Dr. Benjamin Garber's rule of thumb. He is a psychologist, child and divorce expert who suggests approximately 2 times a child's age in advance of whenever there is going to be a significant obvious change in the home. And typically that is that one parent is going to be moving out. And so taking into account a child's age, younger children don't have a very long time frame or time window. They just don't, so they don't need a lot of advance notice. Teenagers have their own life and tend to be pretty busy and understand about time and would need more advance notice. So that's a nice rule of thumb for parents that I offer.
So, when you say 2 times a child's age, does that mean days? So, if you have a 10-year-old, does that mean 20 days?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Thank you for clarifying that.
And so, in the context of this conversation that people are having with their kiddos, do you have any advice that you can share about what to say if a child asks why this is happening?
Yes, actually, I recommend parents not wait for that question necessarily and offer a why, uh, because this is a pretty big event that's happening in the family, and it's happening for some kind of reason. And so it helps to give children an explanation. However, you want to be careful about how much information you give children. And so I usually recommend to parents that it be age appropriate information. So something that a child at their age could consume, that it be honest information so that they don't make something up. They don't make it appear as if it's something that really would fall flat for kids that doesn't make sense to them. That it be honest, but there be boundaries around too much marital detail. So usually I suggest parents really try to give kids enough information that it validates the child's experience and helps them make sense of it. And that it also protect the child's relationship with each parent. And what that means is that neither parent is blamed or thrown under the bus, because it's important for the child that they be able to maintain their close connections with each parent. Honest with boundaries, what I generally mean by that is most parents don't tend to tell children the gory details of their marriage when they're married. And, getting divorced is no time to start sharing that kind of information. So So an example might be, if there's lots of tension in the house or parents have been arguing and fighting, then to be able to say, as you might have noticed, mom and dad haven't been struggling to get along, or we've been fighting a lot. And so we decided that it would be better for us to be in two homes as your parents than to remain in one home married, or something like that.
That's great advice. So, in thinking about that, and I heard you say that we want to validate kids' emotions and their feelings in the moment. What else do they need out of that conversation? What should we be trying to let them know?
Yeah, thank you. So, really important for kids to understand that this is an adult decision and it was not their fault, right? They didn't cause it and it's not about them. Of course, it affects them, but it's not their fault. It's also important for kids to be reminded that they are loved and that even though the parents' marriage is ending and they're going to be in two homes, they're still their parents. They're still going to have both of their parents, and that the parents are going to come together to parent them. And they're still going to have that. Also important for parents to acknowledge kids' feelings, and so it's important for them to get the message from their parents that all of their feelings are okay and that parents understand how they could feel the way they do. And then lastly, as a practical matter, it's helpful for kids to know what might specifically change in their world and also what will stay the same for them.
So maybe understanding that there will be two houses, but their school's going to stay the same, or they're going to see mom and dad, these days.
Right. They'll see mom on these days and dad on these days, and this is who's taking them to soccer. I mean, kids are very focused on what does this mean for me?
Mm-hmm.
And so giving them some specifics can be reassuring.
Great. Thank you so much, Dr. Gabardi. This is really helpful.
My pleasure. Thank you.